what you're looking at here is a ride taken by the HOG Auckland Chapter fairly recently at the back of the Hunua Ranges. This incident here was, I noticed the rider in front of me, Neville, signalling a problem. In front you can see the road captain also signalling. What it is a terrified young calf that had somehow broken through a gate or got out of a gate and ran onto the road. Now, yeah, it's a young calf, but big enough to cause both itself and us a lot of trouble if we came into any kind of heavy contact. We got around and I could see in the rear view mirror the riders behind me were not following too terribly closely. In fact, I didn't see them for a little bit after this corner. We carried on riding. A little bit further along the way, and eventually riders started to catch up. I think, well, yeah, we're okay, we got through this. Well, it really is a beautiful day these days, blue skies as you can see. Yes, but anyway, we're still carrying on with the ride, not really slowing down in particular, assuming that everybody's got past the corner. By this stage, quite a number of riders had, once again caught up. But it turns out that we were missing a rider or two at the rear. And being that the line was stretched out a little bit, it's pretty hard for our road captain to tell if there was in fact any issues. So one of the other riders starts, one of the other road captains that was on the ride, Murray, just there he is there, coming up on the outside, to let Tony know at the front, hey, look, we need to pull over and do a little bit of a regroup, make sure we're all okay after the calf incident. So we pull over to the side of the road, and no sooner had we come to a stop than hear a nice little rumble, and here's our tail end Charlie ripping by. That's Dino going by on the glide there. And so it clearly means, well, yeah, we might have been a bit slow, but we all got there in the end. So it's away we go again. Tony pulls out into the traffic and we start our run again, all now nicely regrouped. That's how we roll. The Auckland HOG Chapter, and all HOG chapters. No man left behind. The rides are run, structured pretty well, so everybody's looking after each other. On a big ride that I went on last November, the road captain had a great piece of advice that I just really enjoyed at the beginning of the ride. He said to us, it was a big one, it was one of the ones that they call a hard ass ride, so 700 or 800 kilometres in a day. He said, look, you've only got a couple of things to look out for here. You've got to look after yourself, look after the guy in front, and look after the guy behind you. And that's great advice for a group ride. Ride safely, don't be a dick, look after people around you. Anyway, here we are, we're heading towards our destination. We're kind of coming out. This is now some time after the calf incident. And this is along the Miranda coast. Further Thames is there on the right. Lovely stretch of water, pretty flat here. If there was a tsunami come, this would really not be any place to be, but here we are here, enjoying this beautiful day, and there's no chance of any trouble, so thank goodness for that. We're heading up to a little settlement called Kaiaua up here. They've got a lovely little tavern with a garden bar at the back, and with a nice little surprise. Well, the surprise is that you can take your bikes right into the garden bar, park them on the grass by the tables, which is kind of nice. You don't have to leave them out the front where you can't see anything. Now the roads along here, if you haven't noticed, are long and straight and flat. You can certainly do a little bit of speedometer testing along these roads. Not that anybody does anything naughty, of course. We're coming up towards the end of the ride here. I think we'll have a little transition. There we go. We're just coming into the little settlement of Kaiaua. What a lovely little place. They've got a fish and seafood like bar cafe thing up here, and just next to it there is a pub with a fairly imposing and stark looking concrete car park area at the front. Doesn't look like much, but there is a nice little surprise around the back. at the Kaiaua Tavern this day, we were swapping one set of motorbikes for another as we were pulling out, and there was another big group of bikes just pulling out. Anyway, pulling off the road here, the car park doesn't look like much, but just around to the right hand side here, it might not look like it, but this is in fact a public entrance. I don't think people bring cars around here unless you're a local and you're parking in, like, for example, a garage here, which looks to be a private setup. But they are pretty happy for motorbikes to come through, and through this hole in the fence here, you can take your ride all the way into we're now on the pub grounds. And just park right up alongside the fence. Quite perfect. And they really do encourage people to come in here because, as you'll see shortly, when Neville or MacGyver brings along some parking stands, which they've got tons of them stacked up on the wooden fence behind us here. So they do very much encourage bikes to come along in and park right here. And with the parking stands for your kickstand, it helps to make sure that even when the ground's a little bit soggy, your bike's not going to just cave right into the ground here and roll over, because you've got to remember a lot of these bikes are pretty heavy, from 320 to 420, 30 kilos. It's quite a weight. Anyway, that's it for the ride today. Take care, make good decisions, ride safe, and see you another day.